Hey guys, so with episode 3 dropping tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, one of the questions a lot of people have been asking since then, for those that haven't seen episode 3 yet, because there are those that have, the obvious question everybody's asking and wondering is basically the same question that's getting asked, or that got asked, I should say, in episode 2 itself. And that is, who's doing this? Who's causing this reality to be as it is? Who's behind it? And in my personal opinion, guys, I think the person behind this is Wanda herself. I think Wanda is the one that's doing it to herself. And we're going to get that answer probably sooner than we think. Not saying it's going to be in the upcoming episode 3. Not saying it's going to be in episode 4. But I got a feeling it's going to be very soon. Now, episode 3, from what we can tell, takes place in the 70s. And obviously, from the hints some people have been giving, those being the ones that saw it early, episode 3 will be the one that starts really opening the door to what's going on and starts really answering those questions as to who's behind this. And I believe, honestly, Wanda is behind it in some capacity. I believe she has a majority of control over what's going on, like 75% control over what's going on, while you have the other 25% being those that are trying to get into the reality that's, there and trying to stop Wanda, from doing this. And this is why when you look at characters like Agnes and Monica Rambeau, obviously these are characters that realize, hey, something's up, something's not right, and we need to look into it. I mean, when you take a look at some of the hints that we get in the trailer for, which features clips from upcoming episodes, it definitely shows you that Wanda's powers seem to be evolving. I mean, the fact that when you look at episode 2, and the fact that towards the end she's able to reverse time, and basically rechange the ending to an ending she wants. It really shows you that her powers are getting a lot stronger than before. And if it's not that, take a look at what she does when she hears obviously a voice she recognizes over the radio calling to her, asking if she can hear them, asking, who's doing this to you? What does she do? She breaks the radio. She causes the radio to short circuit. She causes the glass, I think, in that Dottie character's hands to shatter. And that's it. But I want you to also notice something. Before that happens, Dottie, looks up at Wanda, almost like she's coming out of a trance. And she asks her, who are you? And then that's when the whole radio breaks. That's when the whole radio ends up breaking and the glass shattering. And then all of a sudden, Dottie's mind goes back to the reality they're stuck in. Or at least to that thought process. So my personal opinion is I believe Wanda's behind this. And I believe she's behind it because her powers are evolving. They're getting stronger. And if you don't believe me, take a look at her confrontation with Thanos. It took Thanos calling upon his ships to rain down fire to get her to stop from killing him. And why? Well, look at it this way. He's fighting her. He's fighting her with all he's got. And when he's trying to block an attack by her with his sword, what does she do? She gives him she kind of turns her head like this. She goes like, really? Like she gives him that kind of look like, really? Seriously? And then what does she do? She breaks his sword, lifts him up in the air, and is about to tear him limb from limb for what he did. And that to me shows you that not only is her powers evolving, but they're evolving in someone that is emotionally triggered very easily. They can have emotional outrages, very easily when tragedy, hits them or when something tragic happens to them. I mean, look at her reaction to her brother's death in Age of Ultron. I'm just saying. It seems to me that her powers are evolving, and they've gotten to the point that now she can alter reality. She can alter reality to suit what she wants. And what's interesting about that too is Comic Book Cast 2, CBC2, did a video recently where they talked about the possibility that Wanda's actions are going to have dire, if not grim, consequences, showcased in the upcoming Spider-Man 3. Now, the reason they brought this up is because of the fact that in the original House of M story, at the end of it, Wanda says, because she's pissed, because Wanda is pissed at the interference, that the Avengers and the X-Men and the Brotherhood have been having, what does she do? She says at the end of House of M, or towards the end of it, no more mutants. Now, here's what's interesting. And here's what's interesting about that and why it ties into what CBC2 reported on. Basically, there are billboards and signs going up saying, where's the children? Where are our children? Kind of stuff like that. Or reward for missing children, if they're found. Why would those billboards and signs be seen in leaked shots from Spider-Man 3? Why would those be plastered in certain locations? Unless to coincide or at least alter the No More Mutants situation with Wanda, that instead of no more mutants, she does something that gets rid of certain children under a certain age because maybe she loses hers, at the end of WandaVision or in Multiverse of Madness, which is the new Doctor Strange movie. It makes you think about it. It makes you think, if her powers are evolving and getting stronger, if she's capable of doing something like that due to an emotional outrage or something. It's something to really ponder and think about. But again, when it comes to the question of who's behind this, who's the ones behind it, I believe, like I said, majority of it is Wanda herself, with 25% of it, being someone else, like someone else trying to break through to kind of stop this from happening, to kind of stop Wanda from doing this, and get reality back to normal as it should be. Again, this is mere speculation on my part, but you know what? The thing is, I'm not alone in it. There is a majority of people that believe the same thing. Like if you were to ask them, who do you think it is? Do you think it's, do you think it's Sword? Do you think it's do you think it's Sword? Do you think it's Mephisto? What do you think it is? Or do you think it's, Wanda herself? Majority of people will pick the latter, that being Wanda, with 25% being somebody else trying to stop her, from causing reality to alter even more, or else there will be consequences like what CBC2 reported on being a possibility with Spider-Man 3. But what do you guys think? Do you think Wanda is behind it? Do you think she has 75% control over what's going on? Or do you think it's somebody else? Let me know down below. Let me know in the live chat. Comment if you like. But hopefully with episode 3 dropping tonight, we'll find out more and probably get an answer to that. Who's really pulling the strings. But let me know down below. Comment if you like. And I'm out.